Hi there, Mark Jaben here, Medical Director for the Haywood County Health Department, and let's talk about this pandemic. Time for the weekly update, and this is being recorded on Sunday evening. So in this video, the downward trend in cases and hospitalizations continues, but are we maybe getting a hint that this could be stalling out? And an update on the vaccine rollout in Haywood County. So please share this with someone that you care about. So the good news is that the United States as a whole saw the peak of cases and hospitalizations in mid-January after the fall holidays and New Year's period. 17 states have now dropped into the orange zone. Only 32 states remain in the red, and only Hawaii in the yellow. The only southeast state not in the red is Virginia, and at 24.9 new cases per 100,000 population average over the past 7 days, just barely outside the threshold for red. North Carolina, although still well above the threshold for red, appears to be similar, with a decrease in both cases and hospitalizations, although deaths continue to climb. But then, we know deaths lag behind both of these other ones. And it is interesting that despite these decreases, North Carolina has moved up to having the fourth highest rate of new infections in the country. But this more reflects that other states have seen greater decreases than North Carolina. And some, like Tennessee and North Dakota, had super high levels, something we in North Carolina have not had to face. In Haywood County, the surge certainly pushed us to the brink, with COVID-related hospitalizations as high as 29 at Haywood Regional back in mid-January, and many more ICU admissions as well. But as of yesterday, that number in the hospital is down to around 9, putting us back to where we were in early December in these respects. The case count for the entire pandemic in Haywood County, currently 3,549. And looking at the week-over-week totals, which reflect where we are right now, this has steadily dropped from its high in mid-January of about 423 new cases week over week till today at 204, although we were as low as 181 last Tuesday. All good news, but still well above the 40 or so new cases week over week where we need to be. This currently where we are places us where we were near the end of October. And we should be able to achieve our goal. Confirmed COVID-related deaths in Haywood County now at 89, and the majority of those continue to be in the older than 75 age group, although some in their 50s have died with COVID here as well now. The majority of cases in Haywood County, nearly 60%, remain in people between the ages of 20 and 64, and that's well more than any other age group. And it's not a stretch to say that this is where our spread is happening, with the consequences to our older residents disproportionately suffering more severe illness. Hospitalizations across western North Carolina, although the majority remain older than 60, still about 30%, almost a third, are in people younger than 60, and 10% of hospitalizations in people between 20 and 30. Test positivity, remember below 5%, is what we aim for. North Carolina on a downward trend, now down to 7.4, and everyone in western North Carolina lower compared to last week, the range being between 5.5% and 13%, Haywood County currently at 8.4%. And across the western North Carolina counties, as far as new case rates, everyone is below 50th in the counties in North Carolina except for Henderson, which is at has the 22nd highest rate. And Graham, Jackson, Swain, Clay now in the lowest 10 in the state. And as of today, Graham actually has the lowest rate in the state and is the only county not in the red. Haywood County is 74th. In Haywood County, we have now vaccinated around 8,500 citizens, and there has not been a single serious adverse reaction. Despite the lower supply of vaccine through next week, we anticipate moving to the 65 to 74 age group starting next week. And a reminder, please don't accept a first dose vaccine appointment unless you can commit to being available either 21 days later or 28 days later. And you need to be able to commit to both because this depends on which vaccine you get, and we can't know until when you show up. So for the latest on vaccine rollout, go to the county website, haywoodcountync.gov, look for coronavirus info and the news tab on the left. But look at these graphs again. North Carolina, Henderson County, and Buncombe County, and you will notice in the past few days there is a blip upwards. Now, Is that an incidental blip, or is our downward trend reversing? And with the variant strains we've been hearing about, are they here? And are they starting to take hold? Are we celebrating our lower case counts and relaxing just a bit? Remember, we are just where we were in early December. And at that time, we were already well into the surge with the highest case counts we had seen up until that time. Of course, they went higher. On balance, what we are seeing is good news, but it's not yet good enough. Remember, the less the virus replicates, the less it can mutate. The less these variant strains can spread, and the more effective the vaccines can be. So be well and be careful, especially right now.